Well, there are a number of very clear references which are completely untrue. For example, the insistence that there was a letter from Josep Borrell to Jeremy Hunt that details matters in relation to Gibraltar. Well, that is not the case. I mean, I would know if that were the case. The United Kingdom would know if that were the case, and it is just absolutely incorrect to make that assertion. And that's just an example of what's wrong with the article. And the key thing, of course, for any Gibraltarian, for any follower of Gibraltar politics, is that the government of Gibraltar would not tolerate the existence of a bilateral process between the United Kingdom and Spain in relation to Gibraltar. And there is no such separate process in relation to Gibraltar in the Brexit process, and it would be totally contrary, for example, to even the commitments on double lock, etc., for there to exist such a process.
What about a phone call between Mr. Lidington and Mr. Borrell, which was explicitly mentioned in the article?
I don't think that's right. I think there was a brush past by Josep Borrell and David Lidington, but there was no phone call on the subject, and we've all known always in the context of Brexit and in the context of membership of the European Union that there are sometimes things said as people cross each other in the corridors. I mean, the people of Gibraltar don't have the chutzpah to suggest that it's not possible for somebody to say the word Gibraltar as they cross each other with a British minister in the context of the margins of a wider meeting. But there are no meetings or discussions or negotiations about Gibraltar. David Lidington, longest serving Minister for Europe in a British cabinet, was very clear throughout the process in the time that he was a Minister for Europe and now, that if anybody raises the issue of Gibraltar with him, he knows what his response is, and it's not to engage absent understanding what the governments of Gibraltar's position would be.
Well, Michel Barnier meeting both Pedro Sanchez and Josep Borrell in Madrid today. Are you expecting Gibraltar to be on the agenda?
I think Gibraltar was the first item on the agenda. I think that was an opportunity for positive progress in relation to the attitude that the 27 have taken, and that the attitude of the Commission and the Council in relation to Gibraltar and how they see how the negotiation impacts on us. I sincerely hope this is the beginning of a different attitude to the way that Gibraltar is going to be dealt with by the Europeans, and let's see what emerges, but I'm confident that we're making progress in the right direction, and that will be reflected in what will have been said today.
Well, Mr. Borrell is quoted as saying that one of the issues is, of course, tobacco smuggling. It's something he said in the past, and he's proposing that the price of tobacco rises in order to meet the cross-border discrepancy. Is this something that has been spoken about at all?
One of the issues for Gibraltar is the illicit market in tobacco that is promoted by Spain and the absence of criminalization by Spain of smuggling in tobacco. You'll know that recently there was a change in Spanish legislation. Whilst smuggling tobacco in Gibraltar is a criminal offence, in Spain it was made an administrative offence instead of a criminal offence. There are lots of issues to consider in the context of tobacco. We have to understand what the position of the government of Gibraltar has been repeatedly. If you look at what I've said in this budget and in many budgets before Brexit was even dreamed of, controlling the illegitimate market is an important part of having a legitimate market in any commodity, including tobacco. The Spanish have been going on about tobacco for many years, not just in the context of the Brexit discussions, but this is an issue that has to be dealt with, and we have to be satisfied that we don't have an illegitimate market in tobacco. That may mean playing with the price.